The Shinsen-kyo gardens in Hakone have been built with great care, paying attention to each tree, each blade of grass, and each and every rock. Gardens of beauty and a museum of art have been built in the mountains of Hakone for all the world to enjoy. With its blue mountains and pure rivers, the Shinsen-kyo gardens are just like paradise. The miniature paradise that we are constructing in Hakone is a unique, totally new type of project, the kind never previously attempted by anybody in Japan. I am proceeding with the construction following instructions from God, so we could call it an art of God. The beauty of nature, of mountains and rivers, is combined with man-made beauty of landscape gardens with the aim of creating one superb art object. Additionally, we will build an art museum where we will display outstanding Japanese and Asian art pieces. In this way, we can materialize a real prototype of paradise here. Each rock, each tree, and each patch of plants is placed in the Hakone Gardens under my close and direct supervision and instruction.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining this evening service of the Miroku Association headquarters. Hakone Sacred Grounds, the divine gardens of Shinsen-kyo, were the very first sacred grounds established by Meishu-sama. That sacred grounds carries the vibration of all the members, all the pioneer members that gave so much of themselves to make that possible. Meishu-sama moved to Hakone in 1944. So Japan was still was war times. And in 1946, so this construction of the Hakone Sacred Grounds began. There were so many difficulties for people to reach that area. It is in the mountains, so even for today's standards. So you don't have large roads, you have narrow paths in order to reach over there. But during those days in the 40s, for people to take a train or other forms of transportation to be there was really hard, but they, inspired by Meishu-sama, having their lives being saved, so they wanted to offer their service. So like we read, we listened in this teaching today, so Meishu-sama supervised everything in that sacred ground. Every rock was under Meishu-sama's direction. I want this rock here, I want this tree over there. So it is an art of God. If you have a picture of your favorite artist, let's say it is a picture of nature, a painting. So going through these gardens, you are entering that painting. That was Meishu-sama's vision, to have something for so many people to enjoy. We heard about the Hakone Art Museum, where Meishu-sama envisioned having that museum, especially in Japan. There were so many few art museums available for the general public. Meishu-sama always felt it would be a shame of a superb art objects to be in the hands of the privileged classes only. Meishu-sama wanted to have those amazing art objects available to a large number of individuals, to as many people as possible. So that was the vision of constructing the Hakone Art Museum. First, I would like to ask Delva to share a picture of the initial picture when we see, it's a black and white picture, of course, you see all those mini volcanic rocks. So apparently the first look we have, everything is in disarray, right? So when you would think, what beautiful thing can come up from this? But of course, was Meishu-sama. Meishu-sama had already the vision. I'm going to make this a wonderful garden. People were looking at him. Really, how come? Of course, there were only members that were dedicated. So now I want Delva to share the next picture. So that's the garden. That's the very position in where we saw it before. So Meishu-sama had already the plan. Okay, I'm going to fill these gaps between the rocks, with the soil, and then we are going to plant here, and we're going to have flowers here, here, and there. So that's one small example of the many aspects of these Hakone sacred grounds. This morning, I was also sharing about sacred grounds. The teaching was our sacred grounds. And what I shared is that what makes a sacred ground possible? Having the beauty of nature is essential, of course. So Meishu-sama picked that Hakone sacred grounds. So to have the views of the mountains. So much so, one of the houses over there where he would write teachings, it's called a Mountain View Lodge. So he had the view towards the mountain. That Hakone sacred grounds is not far from Mount Fuji. So when we go from Atami sacred grounds to Hakone, we pass through Mount Fuji. Mount Fuji, if you don't know, is not always that beautiful when we see in the pictures. We have to be very lucky to have that chance to view the whole mountain, because so many times it's covered with the clouds. But anyway, the Hakone sacred grounds, it is the smallest of all the sacred grounds we have. We have Hakone, Atami, Kyoto, Guarapiranga in Brazil, Saraburi in Thailand, future sacred grounds in Kakwaku, Angola, Africa. So all of these Hakone is the smallest, is about a little more than 20 acres of land. But that the vibration that it is in all these sacred grounds, it is the dedication, the love that the members put over there. What I have shared is that, let's suppose somebody, a very wealthy individual, wants to donate all that is necessary for a sacred grounds to be constructed in terms of the structure, or even hiring a landscaper, architects, and whatnot. But with that, how about the vibration? Only one person would be receiving the benefit of having praise from society or whatnot. But when we have the contribution, the dedication of so many individuals, that's what makes that soil rich in spirit, in energy. You may have seen pictures of volunteers dedicating at the sacred grounds. So what happened? Let's see, we are going to, if I'm a volunteer to do some service at the sacred grounds, and I will be assigned to an area to plant some, okay, let's have a lawn over here. So we are going to have patches of grass to be planted. And there may be a group of 50 people assigned to that dedication, okay? So each person is receiving a patch of grass and is it passing to the other person, and so on. And that probably is the only task that the person will do. Sometimes the person may have some physical difficulties because of age or a health problem, whatnot. But that contribution the person is receiving from one person, passing to the other. And maybe that's all that the person is going to do. But that contribution, that energy is passed along, and this permeates the soil. This is what makes what we call a sacred ground, a place with the beauty of nature, but also that the energy of all the members, all the love that were put over there. And that makes it very special. So right now, because of COVID-19, quarantine, traveling restrictions, of course, we can't physically be present at sacred grounds right now, but we can start envisioning, start having that desire. Oh, I want to be part of that. I want, even if that sacred grounds like Hakone has been already established, as we heard, Meishu-sama took charge of every aspect of it. So there's nothing for me to construct per se, but I can still do that. I can get a broom and help sweeping the floor to make the path beautiful for guests, for visitors, for people in society. As a Jorei member, I can do that. I can make at least a small contribution. And that small contribution will keep permeating the sacred grounds with that kind of beautiful, powerful energy. It's like the aura of the sacred grounds will be tremendous. So that's something that we can start planning ahead. I want to be there. Or even if you have been on a pilgrimage, if you have visited the sacred grounds, it's almost like the second time, the third time, there will be something different. I've been blessed to be on pilgrimage so many times. And each and every time there is an aspect of the sacred ground that I haven't seen before. So there's always something new. So it is a living organism. So it changes with seasons. If you were fortunate to log in, for instance, to our service this evening, 5 minutes before, we show the videos, right, that show about the sacred grounds, Hakone, Atami, Kyoto. So we see the changing scenery according to the seasons. Sometimes all the gardens are covered with snow, and in autumn we have the bright red and yellow leaves and whatnot. So we have to go on a pilgrimage in different seasons to see the different aspects. But most importantly about the Hakone Sacred Grounds too, is that on November 20th of last year, the Japanese government selected the Hakone Sacred Grounds as a very special landscaping project. Again, it was concluded in 1952 with the Museum of Art. But what Japanese gardens are very famous. You see these gardens in temples, Buddhist temples, for instance. But so many gardens are enclosed, either in people's residences, or castles, or government properties. So Meishu-sama had that vision to have that very accessible. And many of these famous gardens that I'm referring to, they are from Middle Ages, for instance. But to have something that special that started in what is called the Showa era, that started in 1926. So it was a unique project. It took all those many years for gradually the society in Japan to start recognizing its cultural, its historical, its artistic value, and received this honor from the Japanese government as something really special that should be preserved for the future generations. So that was a very auspicious thing of as part of Meishu-sama's vision and dream, to have that art object. It's the art of God, that we can take part of it. Again, that's my prayer, that we prepare ourselves. How can we prepare ourselves for one day to be visiting Hakone sacred grounds? Jorei, reading the teachings, helping my family, helping my friend, helping my neighbor, helping my co-worker. And then we may all receive the permission to be on this pilgrimage. I want to thank you, pray for your happiness, that you are able to fulfill your mission. Thank you very much.